Episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today it is a bit of a complicated episode for me. There are many things that I want to talk about kind of slightly, and I'm really trying hard today to combine it to one thing, one big piece that kind of works in some or the other way. So please excuse if it is not the case, if I fuck up in the making while I'm talking about these, I think, very important concepts, very important things to keep in mind. Yesterday I've uploaded a clip to my clips site. If you do not know that I'm having a few clips on TikTok, I have a few clips on YouTube on the Christopher Walch YouTube clips channel. Yes, of course, this is what it's called. Because why not? I do understand that maybe there is not time for listening nor watching the whole episode, so let's have some clips. So I uploaded one about not telling depressed people that the kids in Africa or someone else is having it way worse than they're having it. Since we all are having a very subjective way of feeling pain, receiving pain, noticing pain, and pain just in general. So my subjective pain is always going to be the worst, is always going to be the worst compared to anyone else's pain. This is not a lack of empathy. I think this is just human nature. So, why would you say, I thought about it, why would you say to somebody that is really feeling bad that, kind of basically, their audacity to feel bad because other people are having it way worse, maybe on a metrical level. If this makes any sense, I don't fucking know. But, based on facts, the kids in Africa might be having it worse than I'm having it, or than somebody that is depressed or feeling bad or whatever happened to this person. Yes, this could be the case. Just fact-wise, this might be the case. But why would I say this? Does it have to do with not having empathy, not having the ability to feel like this way? Maybe even as well, just not having ever felt this way. Not ever just, which is a good thing, though. This person that is telling me not to feel that bad, maybe this person wasn't depressed before. Maybe this person was also told that. And so this person thinks okay, this is what I should say. This is what things are like. This is how it is done. But it is not that one. It is not done in that way. Period. So developing empathy. What is empathy? How can I do it? I think asking more questions and listening. Listening, basically not being self-centered. Listening, and I've talked about it before, the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, probably one of the first quote-unquote, and I really hate this term, self-development and self-help books that I have read and also really enjoyed, and made it a bit clearer for me that only going through book summaries, sometimes, maybe even often, does not really do the trick. But anyway, it is not the norm. It is not normal to listen fully and being genuinely interested in what the other person is saying these days. Nor was it, I think, 100 years ago. It's quite an old book. Maybe it's maybe 50 years ago. I don't know. But it is quite the old book. And also back then, calculating back his lifetime, it's been quite some time, probably forever, where the majority of the people were not really listening. So being the difference, and I've gotten really good feedback back on that, just listening to people and trying to understand them, but first of all, listening to them. There's not that many people that are just listening. Unfortunately, there isn't that many people that are just listening and deploying empathy, trying to understand the person, trying to understand what this person is feeling, which I think is also making you happier. There probably is no person that would say that making other people happy, especially the ones that you care about, doesn't make you yourself happy. Because it really does. I think it is fundamental human nature that, when we are all in a group and we all have to take care of ourselves and the other person and the other people and the whole group and the kids and whatever, that it makes sense that it feels good by nature to help other people. Because we were in groups. We had to be in groups because there were predators that would fuck us really, really hard if we weren't able to defend ourselves. And this was only done or we were only able to do that in groups. So asking questions in general, I have noticed, is a pretty good idea. Also, when you are unhappy, maybe why am I doing this? Why am I saying this to that person? What do I think is the benefit of doing so? Is this gonna make them feel better? Have I felt better before when I was told the exact same thing? Probably not really. So asking questions and also not judging myself nor anybody else. Very recently, I think it was even yesterday, I'm not quite sure, but I've listened to Ryan Holiday, a pretty big name in the Stoic world, in the modern Stoic world, and he was talking to Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V, maybe you know him, maybe you don't know him, doesn't really matter. But he was saying that he's talking to other people as he's talking to himself, or he's talking to himself as he's talking to other people, or the same way, I should say, as he's talking to other people, which means he's kind. He's kind and understanding to other people, but he's also kind and understanding to himself. And I think when you're doing this, it feels very content for me. It really feels like, okay, I know that I'm this person. I have asked so many questions that I know that I am this person, that I do things because of this, that, and the other thing. Maybe unfortunately because of childhood trauma, I believe that many things that we are doing and many things that we are having to struggle with come from childhood trauma and come from things that we have experienced that we really disliked and really hated, and that, things that branded us, and not in a really good way. But asking questions and just wondering, I think, can really make you able to figure these things out and therefore then also solve them, because I need to see things, I need to be aware of things so that I can actually change them. So talking to oneself, as I'm talking to other people, very often we are pretty kind to other people. I at least hope, I would really, really hope that a lot of people are doing so. I at least really try. Because what is the benefit of, when I'm interacting with another person, what is the benefit of them feeling worse after they have talked to me than before? What is the benefit of that? I would rather believe, and I would rather have in my mind that they're feeling way better after I've talked to them or after we have talked than before. I think this is a great goal, and this is a great concept to live by and to think about. And I really do not want to say that, and this is applicable to today's complete episode, to the whole episode. I don't want to say that one always has to make sure that the other person is feeling the best, that it is always great for the other person, that I myself and the things I believe in and the values that I hold and those needs, especially as well, that I'm having, should not be met. I don't want to say this. I don't think that this is good as well, because so that I can make other people feel good, so that I can make a difference, I need to feel good myself. So that I can make other people feel good, I have to feel good myself. I can't do that much if I myself am not content with who I am, with what I'm doing. At least it is way more difficult, It's probably quite, it's doable. If you yourself are feeling good, you can also make great change. You can also do something great. Doing the same and expecting something different. When I'm talking to somebody and, maybe I'm noticing, and this kind of plays into the whole questioning thing and wondering thing, when I'm talking to somebody and I do not really get the response that I want to get, maybe it is because I'm doing the exact same thing again. Maybe because it is I'm asking the exact same questions again as I'm doing it with all the people that I meet or that I've met before. So what about doing it differently? Doing differently is, there are many facets of doing things in a different way. Maybe speaking in a different way, maybe just, clothing a different way, just having some, I don't know, maybe you're just more colorful than before. Maybe you've been too gray in your outfit or whatever. There are just so many facets to life. And this is why it is interesting. And this is also why it's that complicated. It's kind of a two-sided sword. On the other hand, or on one hand, it is quite great that there are so many facets and so many ways in which you can wander, and trying to see things. There's so many areas of life where you can really deeply immerse yourself and ask questions and trying to understand yourself. Maybe the whole purpose of life is trying to understand yourself as much as you can and figuring yourself out quite good. And this, by the way, should not be done by 20, should not be done by 50. You're having your lifetime of time to figure yourself out and know who you are, what you want to do. It's just society that made us believe that we should do this, that, and the other thing by this, that, and the other age. This is not really the case. We're having a lifetime of time to figure things out. So when I'm feeling bad because of I'm talking to a person and I do not really get the response, and maybe I have done something differently and I still do not get the response that I want to have or the results that I want to have, I'll feel bad. So maybe I have to change something else or I have to reframe it. Maybe it is not about me changing something. Maybe it's just about me changing the way in which I'm thinking about it. There are so many ways in which you can reframe what you're seeing, and unfortunately, and this is something one has to notice and something one has to see, I can reframe things in a very bad way for myself. I can make myself believe so many bad things about myself if I really reframe the world as I'm seeing it, as I'm noticing it, and we all have our subjective filters, by the way. I can really basically feel bad about myself. One can really do this to oneself. So this is also another question. Am I unhappy because I am reframing things in such a way that just make me feel bad? Do I want to feel bad? And also, something that I found really interesting, I unfortunately do not know where I'm having this from. I think it was a psychologist, psychiatrist, I don't really know. But when you're feeling nervous because you're having to give a speech, because you're having to talk to somebody, because of whatever reason, being like, I should be more nervous makes things better. Thinking in your head. I don't know, of course, maybe just, seeing all the people naked and whatever can be quite useful. But being like, I should be more nervous. I should be shivering. I should be having, I don't know, there's so many things that can go wrong when you're giving a speech. But I should be more nervous. Basically, reversing things and wishing for yourself that whatever is happening maybe at this point is even more happening. So maybe, and I thought about that, I don't really know, this is just some sort of thought period. So maybe when you're unhappy and wishing to be even more unhappy, maybe this does something. But I don't really know. I have to figure that out for myself and have to see. And also with many more things, maybe this is applicable to so many areas in your life, and maybe it's applicable to so many problems one is having. And by the way, a good question to ask oneself is also, what is the problem? What am I trying to solve? Why am I so unhappy? Why is this happening? Why do I dislike the situation that I'm having? What is the problem? What do I have to change? Because of course, there are so many ways and so many things that can go bad by talking to somebody. So what is the problem? What was the problem? Figuring the problem out might be kind of the first task to do. But it depends on so many things. Life is so rich in facets. Often though, we know what we have to do. Very often I have also seen and there might be some signs in that, I'd have to look it up for a future episode, the gut feeling. I think that we're all having that. Probably, I don't really know, I wouldn't say all of us, but we often know what we have to do. We often know what we have to change. Maybe it is unconsciously, or it is just in a way that we don't really want to do it. We know that it is maybe either a lot of work or it is something that we just do not want to do, but very often we just know what to do about the given situation, about whatever it might be. So this is also another question. Am I pushing away things that I should be seeing? Am I doing that? So wondering and asking questions. This is the point of this video. This is the point of this short maybe. Wondering, asking questions, and leaving people in a better shape, in a better way as they were before, and not the other way around. Not leaving them in a worse shape or form or mental state. And so there's also a bit that I want to read that I found quite interesting. Of course, it is not only in the Stoic writing that we can see a call to the high road in response to rudeness and meanness. The Bible says that when you can do something nice and caring to a hateful enemy, it is like heaping burning coals on his head. The expected reaction to hatred is more hatred. When someone says something pointed or mean today, they expect you to respond in kind, not with kindness. When that doesn't happen, they are embarrassed. It is a shock to their system. It makes them and you better. So let's seek to be better than the things that disappoint or hurt us. Let's try to be example we'd like others to follow. It is awful to be a cheat, to be selfish, to feel the needs to inflict pain on our fellow human beings. Meanwhile, living morally and well is quite nice. This should be said, but also remember, we are still human beings. And we do fuck up sometimes. Maybe really often, but we all can work on that. So with that being said, I'm going to see you the next time, I at least hope. So